All right, bro.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Abu Kamara, the CEO and co-founder of Grovara. Grovara is the leading B2B global marketplace for wellness brands, and they connect natural and organic brands with international retailers. How are you doing today, Abu?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful, Tony. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity to talk to me again.
Of course.
Really excited to join you here.
Hey, look, thanks for coming through. So let's get right into it. U.S. trade. Can you give an overview of what's currently going on in terms of U.S. trade?
Sure. Well, I mean, when I say trade, when we talk about trade, we're talking about exports and imports, right?
Yes.
And specifically on the export side, U.S. is one of the leaders in the world. So currently, if you look at the consumer product, the CPG, it's over $110 billion of CPG products being exported from the United States every year, right? These are food and beverages that you could buy at your grocery store. These are beauty products, household goods, those type of branded products that you could buy in any store. It's being exported every year from the US, but it's very fragmented. And what I mean by that is a lot of the exports are done by either the brands themselves, but in most cases, mom and pop export companies that are doing the whole process manually. So, we were fortunate enough to be in the business of taking brands global for several years. We saw the complexities within the space. We saw how tedious and painful it was for exporters and brands as well, and for international buyers, from discovery, making the purchases, and making payments. So we thought about, how can we automate this process and make it easy? So the market is $110 billion just from the US. Globally, is over $1 trillion worth of CPG products being exported and imported everywhere. So we're the first B2B marketplace to handle global trade. And that's global trade, the exporting and importing of brands, global trade itself. So we're the first marketplace to build this platform that automates and make the process easier for brands and the buyers from different countries that are buying those products.
And can you describe the current challenges there are with exporting a US brand that might want to export internationally, going about it the current old school way, and describe how Grovara is disrupting that process?
Definitely. One of the biggest pains right now is around supply chain. COVID just took that to a whole nother level. But basically, just if you want to, so say if I'm a brand from Texas and I'm doing $5 million in the United States, I'm selling it in a few states, but I'm looking to sell to even Canada or Mexico. The first thing you got to think about is registering in another country, because when you're selling on a business level, not to an individual, if you're selling to retailers and distributors, that's at scale. So the countries require you to register because they want to be able to know exactly what the brand is, the ingredients, to be able to trace it back to the manufacturer. 99.9% of US manufacturers don't even know where to stand. So it's the regulatory hurdles, the compliance hurdles when it comes to supply chain, and just, the logistics hurdles as well. It's something that's foreign to a lot of US companies, right? And when you move past that, it's also just getting to know your buyer. A lot of folks in the United States barely even have passport, let alone knowing how to do business in Saudi Arabia, Chile, Qatar, Germany, Costa Rica. So every country you go to, depending on your product category, there's a FDA-esque requirements that's needed in those countries too. So brands, frankly, don't even have time for that, right? Because they will rather just have the one compliance that they have to deal with in the United States and focus on the domestic market. So those challenges are there too. Also, just building the sales team, right? Knowing how to negotiate from a cultural perspective. Selling to Japan is different than selling to Dubai, is different than selling to South Africa, is different than selling to Mexico. So how can you wrap your head around those cultural nuances, right? So people shy away from that. And just payments, receiving money, making sure you're getting paid in the right way. just the global currency, foreign exchange fluctuations. So it's a really complex process, right?
Yeah.
But the value that Grovara brings, we have simplified that to a marketplace play. So similar to how a brand will go to Amazon and register their product and sell online, in similar ways, they can go to Grovara.com, register their brand, and now sell to retailers and distributors all across the world. So that's how we've simplified that complex steps that I just explained to you in a bite-sized marketplace with the team. So I tell people all the time, the future of trade is digital with a human touch. So we have digitized with automate trade itself for the first time ever in a full and complete way on the marketplace. And it's the first time ever in the history of the world that global trade has actually been transformed into a marketplace play, right? There's a lot of things with the compliance and regulatory documentation as well that other marketplaces out there that call themselves a global marketplace that I will not name, but they don't do none of those things, right? They're like a discovery site and they can sell with no traceability, accountability, but we cover everything from A to Z that global trade needs, right? So that's how Grovara's transformed the industry. So just to give this platform now to brands and to have the team that we have, right? Our team, I gotta tell you straight up, Tony, even though we're a small company right now, people are gonna know about us very soon and they're gonna know about us in a big way. But our team are by far the thought leaders within the space, right? So, and it's very strategic. We understand markets are different. We understand categories of brands are different. So when we're hiring on both sides, we're making sure we're hiring people in countries that understand their local markets, understand how to sell, and understand how to serve the buyers and the brand's needs, right? We also have a structure of partnerships that I like to call the G network, because for you to do global trade, even though you have the technology, it's partnerships in country that are already set up within the business itself that we somehow have our platform and our business model plug into those partners, right? So I'm not going to get too deep into that, but that's some of the secret sauce that we have to make our work for brands and international buyers. It's the network that we've built throughout the world, which I call the G network. So it's the combination of the technology, our team itself, that's the start of the human touch, the human experience, and the partners that we have on the ground in regions that we sell to that makes this process work. And that's what no other company in the world that's within our space can ever speak of. We're the only ones to map this out and weave it in this way to make Grovara the global trade marketplace.
No, that's amazing. And what regions do you currently have partnerships and relationships in?
Mexico. Mexico is the biggest for us now, the UAE, specifically in Dubai. Dubai is going to lead very soon. And then Hong Kong as well. Those are the three regions. We also have partners in Colombia, which we're starting to pick up now. So those are the current partnerships. So the future partnerships, we're going to deeply embed in those territories. We're going to add Chile. You know, Chile is a strategic market for us. We're going to add South Africa as well, because the continent of Africa, where you and I are from, you know, is the future itself. So having partners in South Africa, maybe Nigeria later, we'll talk about those things later, but those are the specific places. And that's where trade is going. You know, trade is literally moving from west to east now. You know, that's why the partnership that we just established in Dubai is so critical, because Dubai, what people don't know is Dubai was actually founded on trade, not oil. Okay, so, and back then, you know, the pearls that people speak about all across the world comes from Dubai first, and they traded worldwide. You know, that's where the Silk Road went through. So now Dubai is strategically about to be the place where the world comes to trade. And we've brokered some really, really vital partnerships in that part of the world, really special partnerships that's going to set us up and put our marketplace and our team and our brands and buyers right in the center, right in the nerve of the place that's going to transform in a physical way. That's going to be the place where global trade goes through. And so we're aligning with key partners in those regions as well.
That's great. Previously, you mentioned team. and the value and the strength of the team that you've built. I know that you're really passionate about creating a diverse team. Can you explain why?
Oh, 100%. Because I believe if we're a global company, we have to look like the world, number one. But more importantly, my mind is global. My mind is diverse. My mind is, very welcoming to people, culture, sex, creed, whatever it is. So I will proudly say that we are one of the most diverse companies in tech. And I know when we grow enough and get the numbers behind us to be able to have a good sample size, we are going to be the most diverse company in tech. Just to give you a viewpoint of where we are right now, we're 31 team members at Grovara as of today. We have 65% are women, from leadership to support, and over 60% are culturally diverse. And 85% of us speaks more than one language. And even now, so I'm telling the team, we have a couple of team members that don't have passport, but I'm telling them to get their passport up, okay? Because my company, what we're going to do is everybody in the company is gonna travel to different places. Part of the benefit package that we're working on right now is at least once a year, Grovara will sponsor a trip for a team member in any country in the world. Just go out there, meet people, learn. If you want to be a part of a team that's transforming global trade, you have to see the world, right? That's where it starts. It's all about people. It's all about relationships. So we have some fantastic leaders on the company, anywhere from, my business partner, and also, from the supply chain side, we have Juliana Rogensky, one of the most talented supply chain people I know in the world. And I got to tell you, she's the only one I've met in my life that has a double master's in supply chain. I don't know why, but she does. And she operates like that. We have a fantastic sales leader also, Eugenia. She's from Mexico City. She's our director of sales. When I'm telling you, she is like a machine. I've never met anybody that connects with the buyer side so much and so easily and quickly like she does. Understand the business from the buyer's perspective, fully speaks multiple languages, and she just travels the world, just handling business. Tech side as well, we have a really good tech head, our CPO, Chris Nelson. So, on the brand side, Kerry. So we're building the teams, that are really representative of the jobs that they need to do, and they're also leaders. And how I operate is like I put trust in my team. I tell my team all the time, when you're heading a certain department, I count on you to know more than me. I count on you to teach me, some things that I will not know within the department that you're responsible for. So we have a great A team. We're building on that. I'm very proud of it. And like I said, we are going to be the most diverse and inclusive team in tech. They need to change, and we're going to make that happen. Something different.
Yep. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking about, anytime I speak with a tech founder and they have raised a significant amount of money, I always want to talk about the fundraising process, because that's something that is a challenge for a lot of Black founders out there and founders of color in general. So I wanted to ask you, how much has Grovara raised to date, and what was that funding process or fundraising process like? What has it been like?
Oh, I'll answer those two questions, but you just hit something first, and it's very important. It's, right now, how the funding space is laid out, it's very biased towards Black founders and other minority Latin founders and so on and so forth. Within the Black founders, less than 1% of venture capital goes to Black founders, right? That's a problem. My team know that I speak about this, and it's something that I'm looking to speak more about at an industry level, right? Because that has to change. That's the problem. There's a lot of talented people like us. There's a lot of people out there that may be better than me within their space, but they're not getting the opportunity to get funded, right? So that's a disservice not only to a community, but that's a disservice to the country itself. So, but to answer your first question is, we've raised, before this round that we're raising right now, we've raised $6.5 million. We're now in the middle of another $5 million raise. We've done half of it. So it's about $9 million roughly, 6.5, yeah, like closely 8.75 that we've raised so far as a company. And when it's all said and done, we're gonna be at like 10.5 to $11 million total since the company started before the A round, right? So that's where we are. And, we're looking to just beef up the revenue side of the company, hire more salespeople across the world. We're looking to beef up our support and operations, because to me, that's the engine for every business. If you don't have a good support infrastructure, operations, and supply chain, logistics, your company is not going to go nowhere, right? Even though we're a tech company. And then we're also looking to bring the tech in-house. Mostly, we currently work with an outsourced tech firm, but we 100% own our code. So it's about hiring more developers, and also beefing up the marketing and the brands team as well. So that's what the funds is going to be used for. But I believe, we're very close now. I think the investment community is hearing about Grovara. More so, they're learning about the opportunities. One of the challenges that we faced was, it was the right alignment. The interesting thing is, when you're changing a sector, when you're changing an industry, which we're going to transform global trade, you'll find out you may not meet the investors that fully understand what you're trying to do. If we're trying to launch another CRM like Salesforce and HubSpot, we could have found tons of investors, right? So even though we're a marketplace, we're not a marketplace first investment network, right? Now, because if you go to the traditional marketplace investors, they don't know anything about international trade, global trade. They're literally trying to learn 101. And most people are not going to be comfortable to fund you, even though your platform is aligned with their investment criteria. But if the business itself does not align. So alignment of investments is a big deal. There are times when investment groups will have 2 to 3 things that they're keen about. You have to be almost at 100% alignment. So what we've learned now is, it's either we focus on marketplace and platform investors that are global minded, or folks that are within the global network itself, within global trade. So which is why we're looking at investors from the Gulf countries, from Dubai, Saudi Arabia. They're really, really trying to be the place, the region where the world come to trade. And there's a lot of understanding and alignment in that respect, rather than a traditional marketplace or traditional platform investors, which we are as well. So I found out in the early stages, the problem you're trying to solve drives the investor more than the tool you're using to solve. So we're solving global trade and we're using a marketplace. So we cannot lean on a marketplace investors that does not understand the problem we're solving. We have to go to the problem first, and then the tool, the marketplace investors come next. So those are some of the things that we've learned within the process.
That's interesting. And obviously, as a consumer brand, most brands, if not all brands, want to expand as far and wide as they can internationally, but not all of them are in a position to do so. What are your thoughts on what brands can do and what they need to have in place in order to be on a platform like yours and then have that international reach eventually?
That's a great question. Tony, I got to tell you, 9 times out of 10, I don't think the brands understand international, and the dynamic is different. So if you look at the United States, and these are things that I have to learn. So United States, I tell people all the time, 50 states, it's really like 50 countries in one, right? If you take Maryland, where I'm at right now, Maryland is like Belgium. Probably Maryland GDP is bigger than Belgium. So if you're a US brand, you rather sell to Maryland, Texas, California, Tennessee, New York, than go to Germany, France, South Africa, Singapore, and so on and so forth, right? So a lot of US brands don't understand international. I'll tell you 98% to 99% really don't understand international. And it's not necessarily a fault of their own because they're comfortable, right? US is like 50 countries, honestly speaking. Texas, is like Germany. Literally, California is probably like Germany or better. So it's like, if I'm a New York brand, should I concentrate on growing California's market and, be the top 3 in there? Or will I go battle it out in Germany? But what people don't realize is, the brands don't realize, over 95% of buyers are outside of the United States. And when you start selling in 4 or 5 countries, from a valuation perspective, you become a global brand. So if you're trying to sell your company or you're trying to raise funds later, the brand that's in 25 states in the United States is, all things equal, is not better than the brand that's in 25 states plus 10 more countries. And you can outsource that 10 more countries. You can use our tool in-house, Grovara. You can leverage our team to give you that value, right? So those are the differences that I see. But now, if you flip it around, if you look at Latin American brands, for example, Chile, comparable to Florida, okay? If you're a Chilean company, you can do $10 million in Chile. But if you want to be a $100 million brand, you have to look out. So 90% or more of the brands across the world, in Chile, Peru, Colombia, Mexico, even in France, Belgium, the EU trade with each other. Switzerland brands is all over the EU because Switzerland is so small that they cannot be a $100 million company, sometimes even $50 million company, depending on the product category, just in Switzerland. So we are now finding out, and this is a pivot that we are making. We have opened the platform to international brands now, starting with Mexico in September. Now the global brands are super, super excited. Now you're telling a Chilean brand that you can sell to 50 countries. Oh my God, it's on, let's go. So they are 100% in. They will provide you with all the support you needed. They will give you all the attention you needed. Whereas sometimes the US brand is like pulling teeth, and I'm just being honest. Right now, there are certain brand partners, from the US that work with us in a very good way, because they understand it takes a certain type of leadership to get it, to have a global mindset. And one thing that a lot of brands here are missing out on, the world is changing. Like consumers, the middle class in China is about to be more than the whole population of the United States. So are you going to stay as one of the top 10 brands, or can you be one of the top 2 brands in China that has a more buying power very soon than the United States? And can you go to the EU, which is comparable to the United States, right? So it's about having that mindset, having a seeing opportunity, moving out of your comfort zone. But the beautiful thing about what we have is we've made it easier for them. It's not this exporting, it's not this obscure, complex process no more. When we use us, it's like a brand just have to worry about having a product picked up at their warehouse, literally.
So let's say I'm a US brand and, I've been killing it nationally in New York, Texas, wherever, and you just convinced me, all right, let me consider international trade now or expanding internationally. What do I need to have in place in order for you to help me out?
So that's a very good question too, Tony. Number one, we keep it simple. And this is so easy, you might laugh. You just have to dedicate time.
Okay.
Literally. And what I mean by that, have a point person at your company that can work with the Grovara brands team, right? That's it. You will be amazed at the brands that don't even have time to respond to a customer from France, from Colombia, strong markets that are interested. They just push it to the wayside. So give the international buyers the time that they're trying to give you. Number 2, the sales has to be at a certain level. We normally say $10 million, but we're now looking at $5 million and up, right? What I mean by that is there's investments that needs to come. So Grovara's technology will map you with a buyer. You will become visible. They will order samples, from our platform itself. They can negotiate with you on the platform or outside of the platform, whatever you prefer. When you win the sale as a brand, the registration we have all the steps for the brands. Our team can help you procure the documents. If they're on the website already, the buyer can download it and start registering in the country, and they come back and start buying and selling. And payments, we're the first global marketplace, Tony, where now online wire transfer, cross-border transfer can happen on a B2B marketplace. We just partner with a company called TransferMate. We're the first company that they set up because the industry has not even seen this yet. So that's another area that we're transforming, right? You would think online B2B wire transfer happens. No, credit card happens. ACH happens in different type of payments. PayPal have theirs and so many other, but from an online bank to bank wire transfer, it's going to happen. So the buyers will be making payments on the platform. When the products are shipped, documentations will follow that order available for download based on the country's import requirements. We are the only ones in the world to do that too. So that's how simple we've made it for the brands. So now they don't have a reason to shun the international buyers because it's really newfound sales. You know, it's really adding incremental sales. So if you're a VP of sales in the US, you're on Grovara, say your goal was $30 million and you're at $28.5 million, you can get that $1.5 or $2 million to beat your sales goals just using Grovara to connect with these buyers globally. And you don't really have to export. Grovara is the exporter on record because we know brands are really afraid to expose themselves out there. We're not. We know the process. We have the technology. So we're on every invoice for every order that they sell internationally. This is a turnkey. They can never be able to get this anywhere else but on Grovara.
In terms of trends, what are you seeing in terms of appetite for certain types of packaged goods, whether it's beverages or food products?
Plant-based is killing it in various forms, right? So we have the Beyond Meats and these brands like that, but there's specific other plant-based brands, right? You know, there's chicken nuggets that's coming. There's, you know, more of the bacons that are out there, the plant-based bacons. There's plant-based snacks, you know, like everything. So that's a big deal. Keto is big everywhere now. It's one of the trends that I saw just shoot up across the world almost at the same time within a couple of months difference rather than years. International taste, right? You know, we're opening Mexican brands this September. The Middle East is begging for Mexican products. And it's so amazing that Mexico did not even realize because they were concentrated, rightfully so, to sell to the United States because it's next door. So now we've connected with the biggest food company in Mexico. I'm not going to state their name right now because we're in the process of onboarding them, but they're like the Nestle of Mexico, right? They're basically going to use our platform to sell outside of the Americas, you know, even though Mexico is America too. It's like how South Africa and Nigeria, Africa.
Yeah.
So America, yeah. So from Canada to Chile, they have that covered, but the rest of the world, they don't have it covered. So they're going to utilize our platform. So international cuisines and taste are big too. Anything low carb, low sugar is big. But the key thing that, you know, brands have to realize is also price competitiveness. This is one of the things that we require from our brands. And a lot of the brands, we have a quick calculations that we do. We'll find out exactly what your brand is going to cost on the store shelves at several fronts. So the right pricing works for the brands. I'm going back to your former question, and marketing support as well. Those are two things that I did not add. But from a type of product perspective, yeah, just the right price. You know, international cuisines, low carb, low sugar, keto, plant-based, those are good. But you wrap up all of those things, if you have the wrong pricing, it's not going to work. Because, you know, take Mexico, for instance, the average Mexican make 1/3 of what the United States makes. So if you are selling at a United States per capita, which is $60,000, you cannot just go sell for per capita in Mexico, which is $20,000. You have to know the price sensitivity. So we advise our brands to have an international pricing, right? Because a lot of times it's not to make the most profit for each sale, it's to make the profit on the long tail, on the volume, the long run. So having those things for a brand works. And also invest in. If you're launching in California and you're a New York brand, I bet you anything they have a marketing budget for this. But you'll be amazed at these brands that are trying to launch in Germany and they're surprised. Oh, we have to pay for marketing. What do you think? The products are just going to fly off the store shelves? Do you think people are just going to see your brand and they know what it is and they just buy it? So yes, you have to invest in marketing. So even if you have the right type of products, if you don't have the budget for marketing, Grovara is going to get you on the store shelves. But what's going to have you fly off the store shelves, right? The same responsibilities that the brand have in the US. Invest in promotions, right? You know, when you launch it, maybe make it a 20% off on the store shelves, right? Investing in store marketing, signage. People are saying there's a new brand launching from the United States. These are the key call outs. They're keto, they're plant-based, low carb, low sugar, and we have 20% off, right? And just social media marketing, right? We have partners in countries that they will work with. So we give them all these tools because we know when you get on the store shelves, you have to move from the store shelves for Grovara's platform to bring it back in the store shelves as a reorder, right? So that turn needs to happen. So a lot of times brand things, magic happens. So we have to be like, dude, how did you launch in Texas?
Right.
That's how you're gonna launch in France. It's consumers as well, you know, they have their needs. Countries are different slightly, but the principles are there. Better pricing, competitive brand, you know, ingredients, taste, and all of that. Marketing to back it, right? And then engaging consumers on the social media side to build your brand equity. So those are the things that, those are the type of brands, you know, and those structures around the brand is what's going to make the brand successful in those countries.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, switching gears a little bit, one thing that you and I have in common is a passion for Africa and economic developments in Africa on the continents, right? So can you speak a little bit about your mentorship programs and go into some of the plans that you have for Africa?
So my Niger brother, you want to talk about book in English, Creole, or with it? Eh?
Let's talk about it.
What y'all are talking? Y'all are not Creole. Me not man. Y'all are not with me.
Speak regular English for the people right now.
Okay. I'll just keep it in English. So no, I mean, everybody that knows me know I am Africa. Like I love Africa. Africa is in me. Everything that I'm doing is just to, at the end of the day, if you ask me, you know, what my real passion is and the thing that I want to do in life is to use my talents, my gift, my resources to be able to transform Africa as a continent. Well, but when you look at Africa, obviously the first move is going to be my home, Sierre Leone. So, you know, grew up in Sierra Leone till I was 16 and a half years old, came to the US. And I'm telling you, since I moved to the US, there's not been a single day where I'm now focused on Sierra Leone mentally. So everything I'm doing is that. So I have a great set of mentees back home, you know, and they're not just my mentees. One of them is Hawayoki. They're not just my mentees, they're my partners as well, right? Because I believe in, you know, you and I never had the opportunity for older folks from Africa to really see our talent and provide us with the right support and resources and just back end needed, right? So I think that's what our generation needs to do for the younger generation coming up. But I really see them as my partners because to me, there's something special about a 18, 19, 20, 21 to 25-year-old mind that we can tap into, you know, because we tend to get comfortable with things. So basically what I'm trying to say is there's a group of innovators in Sierra Leone and across Africa that I believe they're going to transform Africa. I think we are the bridge. I know we are the bridge, right? So we had the opportunity to come to the States or somewhere in the EU and, you know, get exposed to a lot of different things. Even though I believe the intelligence and hustle is always in Africa, but we got exposed to a lot of things. We're a bit liquid with capital. So what we need to do is to use our expertise to tap into what the kids know, not trying to just talk to them and transform what, no, tap into, learn what they know first and see how together we can be able to make magic happen, right? So we need to be the bridge from here to there, and then they need to be the one building Africa. So they're going to stand on our shoulders. So what I mean by that is, Hawar's my mentee, awesome young girl. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So this girl, right, when she was 16 years old, mind you, when I was 16, I was probably chasing girls, but that's either
probably or definitely.
So when she was 16 years old, Tony, she installed solar panels right outside of our village for 50 homes. 50 homes at 16 years old. You would not pay me to do that when I was 16. No. Okay, so that just struck me. I'm like, wow, this girl is special. And when she was 18 years old, she won the Young Innovator of the Year. She has so many ideas, and but she has never had the opportunity to really connect with somebody that really see her for her and really want to help her build. So her and I just created this bond. And when I'm telling you, we're moving on some things right now. Number one, we're about to launch the first youth-led and youth-owned innovation center in Africa. Okay, it's going to be called the Kamara Yoki Innovation Center. We're already renovating a space in Sierre Leone right now. This is an idea that we wanted to launch like 3 years later. And mind you, she came up with the idea. I was always passionate about helping innovation youths, like youths that are innovative and just tapping into that. And I always wanted to find a space for them. But she was the one that, why don't we just do this? And she said, I want to build a center where I could have, kids, like me that don't have the opportunity to be able to access technology, from having laptops, robotic tools, drones, all the way to 3D print manufacturing. I'm like, let's go. So from that, we have a plan. We're moving on it right now. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's okay. We're this December in Sierre Leone, and I hope you're going to be there. We're launching the first youth innovation center in Africa, the first youth-led and youth-ran. They're going to be running the center. These are like 18 years old to 21, 22 years old. They're running the whole center. I'm just mentoring them. I'm providing them with the capital and resources, like using my expertise, my entrepreneurship skill set to get them going. But it's something special. So the next goal is 3 years later, 4 years later, we plan to build a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art innovation center that's going to be competing with innovation center in Europe and in America. Why not? And it's going to be in Sierre Leone, right? So, and it's going to be youth-led and youth-ran as well. So by that time, the goal is within the next 10 years, Sierre Leone is going to be the youth innovation capital of Africa. And these youth that I'm talking about, right? Hawa and her team, they're going to change Africa. And then we'll start connecting. Before that time, we'll start connecting with innovators and youth on the innovators. I don't have time for the older folks, I'm sorry, when it comes to this stuff. Youth innovators in Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Ethiopia, Ghana, Senegal, Tanzania, you name it, we're tapping into them. So you're going to see Kamara Yoki Innovation Center across Africa, right? But it's going to be headquartered in Sierre Leone, launched from Sierre Leone by the youth with my support. And that's going to be the start of how Africa as a whole is going to change. And it takes the young minds, it takes innovation, and just empower them to use their expertise and skills to be able to solve problems locally. We're tired of aid, man. So the aid is good here and there, but there's never been a country ever in the history of the world that was built by aid.
Yeah.
And there's never been a country in the history of the world that was built by others than the local people. So why should countries in Africa just sit back and rely on aid and those things? But we want to empower the youth, entrepreneurship, using entrepreneurship and innovation, and using the African pride itself, to let them know Africa did it in the past and Africa will do it again in the future. So to me, that's my goal. That's my, but I'm just tapping into the younger generation, and I'm partnering with them. That's the key. Because a lot of the older folks back home, when you're a young kid, you're telling them about ideas. Oh, go to school, go do this, go be a doctor, go do that. That's great too. But it's the entrepreneurs that are going to be hiring the lawyers and the doctors and the engineers, which the engineers are, the innovators. I'm trying to teach them entrepreneurship. I'm trying to coach them into ownership, and I'm partnering with them because I know they're the future. So hopefully, they can pay it forward, which I'm seeing they're doing right now. Hawayoki, when I'm telling you, by the time she was 17, she was paying for 25 young girls' school fee from scholarships that she was winning. The little bit of money that's left after she pays her school and do what she had to do, she was already paying it forward at 17 years old. And she has a great group of friends around her, from Rama, Yila. They're just really good. They're great kids. And I believe, if you find talents like that across Africa and you tap into that, you provide them with the resources, Africa's going to be different, in the next 2 decades. Very, very different in a very good way.
Now, that's a powerful idea. And, kudos to you on actually doing more than just talking, but actually making it happen, tangible results currently going on right now. No, not talking about, oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. There's actually a building. There are actually kids there. There's actually plans in place. So kudos on that. Proud of you for making that happen, man.
Thank you. 100%. We gotta be the change.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Africans know how to talk about the problem, but they don't move on the solution. So we're trying to be the change now. We're trying to be the solution.
Oh, that's great. Right. That's great. Hey, look, Abu, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for dropping those international gems and giving your insight and sharing your wisdom on international trade, African startups, and just where things are going in terms of business in general on the global scale.
All right, thank you so much, brother.
All right, take care. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
indeed. Hey.
All right, thank you, bro. All right, bye. Peace.